Hello, I'm Janice Carmichael, and I have a really special guest here with me today, Mrs. Kescha Vaughn.
Yes, that's me.
So Kescha Vaughn is one of our preferred lenders. So you guys had a lot of questions about the down payment assistance programs and how you can maximize the funds that are available out there for buyers to purchase their first home or repeat homes. So I went directly to the source, the professional. She's been doing this for a long time.
About 30 years. 30 plus years I have been putting people into their first time home. That's passionate. I'm very passionate about it. Thousands of homeowners are kind of like happy. I am passionate about building wealth through real estate. So being able to help people get to the finish line of homeownership is really what I've been doing for over 30 plus years.
So you started at like 15?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm still 29.
Okay.
So even though I like math, this math don't math, but however,
okay.
I'm still 29.
The face
but
is
yes.
math.
Oh, good. Yes, I like that.
Okay. Okay, well, that just basically means you know what you're doing,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So, in all transparency, like we spoke with our buyer, our most recent buyer, and she spoke very, very highly of you.
Oh, that's
so,
good.
Again, we wanted to go directly to the source.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So, people have a lot of questions about interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay, so, I got my saying about interest rates.
All right.
Okay. So, you have a lot of people want to predict how the market is going to go. I'm not that type of loan officer. Mm-hmm. I have a message for everybody because rates are going to do what they're going to do at the end of the day. And over 30 plus years being in this business, the rates are going up, going down, but you have to get into the game. So I say, date the rate and marry the house. That has been my message. When I bought my first house, my interest rate was 10.5%. But that was my first step into investing in real estate. And the rates where we are today actually are normal average interest rate. Right. A lot of people think the rates are going to go back to COVID time. And that was a catastrophe within the whole world, in a sense,
Yeah.
And so the government had to step in to subsidize interest rates. So you're not going to see a regular fixed rate at 2.5% or 3%.
Okay.
That's not normal.
Okay. I really like
so let's get, familiar that today's rate is 6, probably in the mid 6s, I mean, they reached the 8 a little bit, but now they're coming down some. But again, date the rate, marry the house, get in the game.
Exactly. I love that. So I say that to people, right? But when you say you have a little flair on it, like, yeah. So I didn't know when you bought your first house, it was at 10.5%.
Yeah.
So I guess you must laugh at everybody when they were like, oh, rates are so high. And you're like,
Yeah, because I don't pay attention to rate. I pay attention to what I was paying for rent.
Right.
And I always share my story in reference to when I bought my first house.
Right.
My rent was $395. Okay, so that was cheap. That was expensive back then, but compared to today.
Right.
But my mortgage payment ends up being $354.
Oh, okay.
So at that 10.5% interest rate,
right,
I was still cheaper than what I was paying in rent. So I spent 1 year renting. Because I was like, I gave somebody like $4,800 of my money and it's not mine.
Right.
My mind was like, no, let's buy a house. So it was my first house, my starter house.
Okay.
And then I grew from there and I started investing in real estate, buying other properties on the same block, and then eventually moving to Delaware,
I love that.
But you got to pay attention to paying rent. Some people have to pay rent, but you don't make that a lifestyle. Invest into a property, and then you can start building wealth, because I'm passionate about how the power of real estate actually works.
I love that. I love that. There's like other things that you say that echo to me, right? So I want to go back for just a hot second when you said that the COVID rates were subsidized. I really love that word because that already indicates like temporary, right?
Temporary.
Subsidized.
Yep. The government stepped in, now they're stepping out.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, so also you talked about renting for a year and then you rolled into buying your first property.
Yep.
Okay, that's very interesting because, as you know, we already got permission from Danielle to talk about Danielle, right? So Danielle said that she was turned down for a rental right before she bought the house. So she said that she put in her application for the rental, and they looked at her income, and she was like below where they wanted her to be, and they were like, well, you don't have another job? And she was like, no, I have this one. So then something clicked in her. She was just like a little tired of it, and she was like, well, let me just see if I could qualify for a mortgage. And she did, and she did, but she was uneducated with that first pre-approval. That was before she got to you.
Oh, okay.
Before she got to you. So by the time she got to you, she was like ecstatic and confident.
Right.
She told us that she sat on a pre-approval for a month before doing anything. She didn't tell anybody, she didn't do anything.
Wow.
She was like that, like frozen. So when she got to me and she got to you, right, she felt more confident to be able to move forward into the next steps.
Right.
So funny thing, even though she still didn't tell anybody, like in her personal life, so, you know, we talked about how we had a team that rallied behind her to support her in her first purchase, because it was really important for her that she felt confident to be able to do that.
Absolutely. So one of the things that is really disturbing in the beginning of her story in reference to renting, it's very difficult for people to get approved for renting because they want your income to be at least 3 to 4 times of what the rent is. And then on top of that, the amount of money you need up front to buy to even put your security deposit, first month rent and last month rent, you need like 3 months. So when that amount of money have to come out of pocket, it helps with buying a house, and I'll get into what her story is about her buying a house. However, but qualifying for the rent is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Get a mortgage.
Right.
And the process needs to be smooth. However, realistically, is overwhelming.
Yes.
Okay. It's an overwhelming process, but you got to have your team members that support you all the way around to go through step by step, make sure that you get enough information that you can make an informed decision and making people comfortable.
Right.
I share my story with people all the time, and because I'm passionate, I'm going to tell you the good, bad, and ugly. I'm a straight shooter, so if you want to get to the finish line, you just got to follow my lead.
Yes.
You know, but I'm gonna get you there. But that whole process can be very overwhelming. So I'm glad to hear that she settled and she's surprised. We're not, loan officers should not be scary people. Okay, we're here to help you.
Yes.
However, if you find a scary one, run. You know, but we're here to help you through the whole time process. And I know for first-time home buyers, it's extremely overwhelmed. So I said, get your Advil, get your Aleve, get your Tylenol. We will ask you for everything, including your firstborn. However, you're gonna get that house.
Right, because at the end of the day, she needed, what did she say, $5,400, $5,500 to get into wherever she was renting, but she ended up coming out of pocket less than $5,000
Absolutely.
to be able to purchase her first home.
And so you think if I pay $1,500 in rent, what we need, about $4,500?
Yes.
And her total money that she probably needed was about $3,900. So we use down payment assistance programs for her, which we kind of like, I'm specializing in that. Even if you have money saved, if there's grants or down payment assistance, use their money. Y'all may have heard the term use other people's money?
Yeah,
OPP.
other people.
OPM, right. So when you do that, I make sure that you qualify for the programs that are available. And there are tons of programs. And she happened to be able to get approved for the City of Wilmington's down payment assistance program. So it's different programs based on areas where you might want to buy. And some of them are grants, some of them are loans. So we'll be able to explain to you what that looks like. I have home buyers who really only need $1,000 to get into houses with some of the programs that were available. And one of those programs was First Rent Door. So I'm sure you guys heard about First Rent Door. That comes out maybe like once a year and around April. So we want to get people ready in March to be prepared to get that money, because there's only a pot of money and everybody go for it at one time, and we are on it to make sure people get the money. So some of the grants that this year that rolled out was really good, even for higher income families, which I thought was phenomenal. It's $20,000 and it's forgiven.
That's a big deal.
At the table, okay? $20,000. That's First Front Door Keys program, and then they had the regular First Front Door, which was $15,000. So people, previous years to this past year, it was $5,000 they gave, but they upped the game. So it was $15,000 for the regular, and then they came out with the keys for higher income families for $20,000. And so we have reserved, so what we do, reserve your money, and then you have 6 months to buy a house. So a lot of people now who finally got contracts and settling, they're using this grant totally forgiven at the table, and they only need to invest like $1,000 into the transaction.
Wow, that's insane.
$1,000.
$1,000. That's it.
0.0000.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
So it's the different programs are available, but ask the questions. You know, call and say, hey, what's out here? We'll tell you. Delaware State Housing Authority has a great program. They've been around. Some of their programs are with grants, and some of them are loans. And the grants generally is only a pool full of money. So it comes and goes, first come, first serve kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they're good programs. They have Delaware Diamonds now. If you work for the state of Delaware, education, medical field, like first responders, it's $10,000. They still have money available for that, and that's a grant.
Yeah.
So with different programs, I don't expect everybody to remember them all, know them all.
Of course. Well, that's our job.
Right.
That's why I call you.
That's
what I call you for.
But to let you know that you can get into a home for probably less than what you want to spend to put down on a rental property, you can get a home and get into a home.
We literally just did that with Danielle. I mean, again, if you watch the interview that she did with Danielle, she literally said, and I asked her, I said, if you were to rent that property that you were going to rent, how much would you have put down? She said $5,400. So I spent less money buying this property than I did renting. So I want to piggyback off of that. Is your passion to go out in these streets to find all the grants to get all the money for as many guys as you can? Because it seems like you know about all the programs.
Yeah, right.
Is that like your passion to find that?
So being around for a long time, it's just natural that things come to us, and if our bank doesn't have it, we make sure they get it. So with Meridian Bank, that's what I work for. And so, and then some people hear about programs, and I said, oh, well, send me the information, and then I will seek to make sure that we get their program as well. But we generally are involved with a number of programs. I wish I had time to do a lot of research about all the programs, but I'm busy helping home buyers.
Plus they're constantly changing,
and they're changing. So guidelines change. You know, some of the agents tell me, hey, Kesha, did you hear about this? All right, tell me about it, and I'll just do what I need to do. And if we don't have it, we'll try to get it. But even with other competition, sometimes their programs are may be better. And my passion is to get you to make sure you get in a home. So if that program is better, I was like, okay, go ahead, go there. But that's the passion about. We have to start building wealth through real estate. We are the only community, and I'm talking about the Black community, that our homeownership rate is below 45%. Generally, it's about teetering between 43 and 44%. And it's been like that for over 30 years since the Fair Housing Act has passed in 1968. And that is ridiculous because non-Hispanic whites, they're at 74%. So we've been trying to bridge the gap to say, people, you got to get into the game. We make the money, we have the credit, but for some reason in our brain, we don't think that we should buy houses. And millennials, it's about 1.7 million millennials make over 6 figures that are home buying ready and still have not started the process. And so the mindset is what I'm trying to change. So me going out here is changing the mindset to say, get into buying your first home. Start building wealth, because there's no way that you can save equity. Let's talk about equity. When you buy a house, houses have appreciated within a year, 2 years, or 3 years. There's no way you were able to save $25,000, $40,000, $50,000, putting your paycheck to the side. Because we have a problem with saving because we're in debt. But building wealth, buying it, investing in real estate, and you ain't got to stay there permanently. You can move. Right? And take the money you make off of it and buy a bigger house, Or take some money, don't move, buy investment property. So it's all about that. So it's just about the mindset. Can we change our mindset? And I tell people, let's glorify homeownership.
Yes.
We glorify cars, pocketbooks, jewelry, showing off. But what's in your bank account and what kind of assets do you have? What's your net worth?
Exactly.
That's my question.
Right.
I know I'm saying a lot, but y'all can tell I'm just
But you're dropping diamonds, and I just love it. Really the next step is just to contact you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got a question for you.
Okay.
Why do you do what you do? What was it 30 years ago when you decided to become a loan officer? What was it about that? Why did you become a loan officer?
Okay.
Why are you still one now?
Right. I still ask myself that question. Yes. I don't know whether you know this. However, I started off as a real estate agent.
Oh, wow.
Yes. for 5 years. I started off as a real estate agent, and I worked at a bank. Somebody came in with a check, and I was like, what do you do? Because it was like a 4-figure check, and this is many moons ago, y'all. So, and they was like, I'm a real estate agent. I was like, oh, well, what they do? So I was young.
Right now.
And I was like, so I went to school, got my real estate license, and I got into showing houses. I wanted flexibility to raise my family as well. So a real estate agent was giving you that flexibility. And I got more fascinated about numbers of getting people approved versus showing houses. Now, I like looking at houses, but going out every day, I applaud you real estate agents out there, but I'm a problem solver by nature.
Right.
So I wanted to figure out how do people get approved, because my clients were being discriminated against based on the application process, or they weren't given direction of how to improve on their credit. How do we get approved? They would just say, I'm sorry, you're not approved, next, on to the next.
Right.
And I was like, no, let me figure this out so I can start educating people. And so I started educating people, got into the mortgage business, and been running with it ever since. I keep saying, I want to retire, but I'm not, because I love what I do. The process is similar. Every person is different. We talked about that. But when there's issues or challenges, I figured out. I also have a nickname. I didn't know that. Olivia Pope of Mortgages.
All right.
So that's been an agent actually named me that.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
So
That's very
it wasn't
fitting
one of
for
my
you.
hashtags, Olivia Pope of Mortgages. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that's me. So resources, I'm a problem solver, but I just love what I do. I raised a whole family, 4 kids, you know, and just been able to live life, and you know, the sky's the limit as far as your income is concerned too.
Right.
So you know, real estate is it.
Awesome. Anything else you want to say to the viewers before we head out?
Get in the game. Date the rate and marry the house.
That's it.
Let's do it. Give me a call.
So Kescha Vaughn, House of Mortgages. Comment below if you need anything else. Send a message. We're here and we're ready. Get in the game.
Absolutely, get in the game. And I'm so proud of Danielle. I love it when they get into their house, they're so happy. I have people cry at the settlement table because they never thought they can do it. And that's what keeps me driving in doing this. Yes.
I love it.
Absolutely. My number, 302-293-8393. Text me, call me.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.